All right, so interesting article from Dave Kranzler. As you know, Kranzler, what's his full site name? InvestmentResearchDynamics.com. Dave Kranzler, precious metals fund manager. Got his ear on the wall constantly, if you know what I mean. Banks struggling. This is interesting. I haven't heard anything about this yet until right now. Banks struggling to settle gold contracts standing for delivery, says Dave Kranzler. Now, what that means when it says settle gold contracts, again, you go to the COMEX market. For example, if you're an investor or whatever your reason is, you want to buy some gold off the market, you could basically get a futures contract, pay for it in full, not the 10% leverage game, and they have to bring you 100 ounces of gold. You're going to pay for 100 ounces of gold. That's called demanding delivery. I'm taking this paper contract that I bought from some schmuck banker, more than likely, JP Morgan, and I'd like to cash this in. I'm going to give you the full amount. I'd like my 100 ounces, please. That's called standing for delivery. We want our gold. Most of the time, no one's there to ask for gold delivery. We're just going to pass the paper to the left hand passes it back to the right hand passes it back to the left hand passes it back to the right hand, and they are moving the market wherever they want by doing that. If they don't put too many contracts out there, the market goes up. If they start buying them all up, market's going to come back down. They sit on them for a little bit, market starts going up, they start flooding the market. You can move the price anywhere you want, but you got to have that paper, those paper contracts. See, with Bitcoin and cryptos, there's no such thing. There's no paper contracts, which is why it's an incredibly explosive market all of a sudden. No rigging going on. Everyone's like winning, right? But anyways, let's see what he got here, because you know me, I'm a precious metals fan first and foremost, diehard. Secondly, these days, I'm a crypto fan. In 2013, I was not. I bashed it because it is essentially a fiat currency. I've said this before, but it's a fiat digital currency that you can never print out or do anything with, really. It's online. And no country or central bank created it. Who's the hell selling the value of it, right? You know what I mean? So it's scary, but I learned my lesson in 2013, and I came back out and said, guys, girls, I can't ignore the performance of this damn thing. No matter what it is, the underlying things about it, you can't ignore this. I think I may have gotten that wrong. I may have to get into some of this stuff, and I did. And here I am today. But anyways, as I've said, take some of that money when you sell some of these cryptos and make your profits. Take some of that and buy precious metals. This is a win. This is not even a win-win. This is a triple win situation, a win-win-win situation. And I will mention the special Proclaim Liberty silver bar, 10-ounce bar at Silver Doctors from a special link they've given me. It's sdbullion.com /JSNIP for Papa's calling. JSNIP 5, if you will. Stand by. I'm not even going to pretend where I just left off. Papa Snip 5 and JSNIP 4 just had a lengthy conversation. Talked about the house, JSNIP. This is Papa's advice to JSNIP. The housing, it's going to collapse. It's going to come down. I know. But that if it's your dream home, if it's where you want to live, and it's well under what it was in 2006, and what they're listing it for now, I think is too high. If we can pull that off, he understands, yeah. So we talked a little about that, a little about the haters. He sees the hater comments. He was laughing about that. And I said, yeah, these people are, they're like, they just they like love misery or something. They just, why? Who's this Duffy guy? Duffy or something. What is this Duffy guy? What is he doing? Like, why is he even following you? Why is he on your channel? Just get lost. So Duffy, my dad tells you, get lost. Duffy, get lost. JSNIP4's Papa says, get lost, Duffy. Your comments are not useful here. And I said, Dad, those are haters. They're what? They're haters. People who see other people being successful or giving advice that they don't like, whatever it is. And I'm going to tell you a story, which I just told him too, because we're talking about Bitcoin and silver. And he says, yeah, you should try to sell the Bitcoin, take the profit, use that for the house, down payment, etc. Don't touch your silver, And I said, and he's like, they hate you because you've given some pretty good advice to some other people and they've made it. I said, well, let me give you a story here. There's a lady I know I speak with who sold a couple of her houses in America, and she told me she bought a bunch of Bitcoin with all the profits. I think it was all the profits, actually. I don't know if she took most of it or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was all her profits. And I don't know the exact amount, but it's over 100 Bitcoins that she has. And she bought these a while back. Not a super long time ago, but sometime in, I believe, early maybe 2016. I'm not really sure. And you know what the price of Bitcoin may have been jumping around, 400, 500, 600, 800. You know, it may have been doing those numbers. And it's at, as I do this video, $2,500. She's probably pretty happy right now. And that's what I was telling him. He's like, yeah, so you know, people like you. They like what you say. They like what you're talking about. You're helping them out. You're making some people wealthy. And I said, yeah, you know, maybe, I said, you know, she may have been in at an $800 Bitcoin. I'm not really sure when she got in at, actually. He goes, well, you know, let's do the math. You know, if she has, she could have made $250,000 just since then. I said, yeah, it's possible, depending on when she got in, but that's pretty great, isn't it? That's why I sit through all the crap of the people. Webbot, why do you listen to that stupid thing? How come you never do the videos on how wrong it is? Because I only concentrate on the right stuff. That's all that matters to me. When something's right, hey, it said this in advance, check this out. But anyways, whole different story, right? Let's get on with this. I want to know about the gold stuff, and I want to tell you about how you can get a 10-ounce silver bar at spot price. No premium at the end of this video. So again, Kranzler, it appears currently that the Western central banks are having a difficult time keeping a lid on the gold price. The elevated level of privately negotiated transactions and exchange for physical transactions, both of which facilitate settlement of COMEX gold contracts off exchange, privately and out of sight, is an indicator the banks are struggling to settle gold contracts with deliveries from the amount of gold available in the COMEX. So I just read you the other story the other day about Chinese companies who pledge steel and other commodities for a loan as collateral for a loan from a bank, and the bank says, okay, show us the steel, it's right over there, and it's worth, you know, $3 million. Okay, we'll get you the loan. And then some other company comes in to either that bank or whatever, some bank. We need to see your collateral. They point to the same pile of steel. Okay, you're approved. Another guy comes in, need a loan. Where's your collateral? That's a pile of steel. And in the one I showed you, 10 different times that happened. Same pile of steel, rehypothecated 10 times. As I've said before with these paper contracts and SLV and GLD, this gold that they claim they have, trust me, same with silver, trust me, it's been rehypothecated 10 ways from Sunday. There's a whole bunch of claims on that same silver. And maybe that's why, and gold, they're having some issues here. Let's see what he says, though. After the concerted Western Central Bank effort, led by the Bank for International Settlements, to squelch Indian gold imports by eliminating the most commonly used currency bills, failed, the fake news about Indian gold imports coming from the World Gold Council amplified. The WGC, World Gold Council, missed its Q1 2017 forecast for Indian gold imports by a country mile, as Indian gold imports doubled in Q1 to 253 tons. Please note that these numbers do not include the amount of gold smuggled into India, which has been estimated to be 200 to 300 tons annually. Now, the World Gold Council, and keep in mind, when we say smuggled in, when we talk about being smuggled into India, it doesn't mean like there's some secret source of gold no one knows about, and that's where they're getting it from and smuggling it in. No, it's coming from the known sources. Therefore, it's taking from supply side and smuggling it into India because they don't want to, the government finding out. That's all that means. Now, the World Gold Council is promoting the narrative that Indian gold imports will average only 90 tons per quarter the rest of the year because of the new general sales tax scheduled to be implemented on July 1st, plus restrictions to be implemented on gold door bar imports. However, this is again an ill-fated prediction, likely for the purpose of spreading anti-gold propaganda, also known as fake news, which seems to be one of the World Gold Council's general directives. Kind of like the CFTC, regulatory agencies, hidden agenda, we will never find in favor of anybody, any entity that says, look into this for manipulation. I think these prices were manipulated in the silver market, gold market. We looked, we didn't find anything. But wait a minute, Deutsche Bank just admitted it. Their traders now on record admitting we rigged it. You want to look back into that? No, thanks. So it's kind of like that. Except the World Gold Council isn't a regulator. Okay, it's not a regulator. The CFTC is a federal agency, it's a regulator. They should be looking at this and finding this so easily and slapping massive criminal charges against these entities, but it's their job not to, because gold and silver is a competing currency with paper dollars. So they're never going to find out. So what's the next best thing we can do to fix this? Keep pulling gold and silver physical out of the system until one day their systems implode and they can't deal with it. And maybe what he's talking about here might be a sign of that. But again, let's continue reading here and see what happens. First, in April and May, the premiums to world gold paid in India suggest that April and May imports already are well into triple digits. And the World Gold Council's arguments are absurd, as expressed by John Bremlow in his Gold Jottings report. In his opinion, the only way this prediction can be right is if the U.S. price of gold jumps a couple of $100, since quarter two is half gone and premiums have, if anything, been even more constructive during April and May. Imports for the quarter are very likely to be deep in triple digits. Also, the door point is just ridiculous, the door bar. To the extent door is not available, India will just revert to buying kilo bars, which are only a few dollars more expensive. How the authorities will treat the gold trade in introducing general sales tax is still uncertain, but using it to increase the rate of tax will just increase smuggling. In any case, fear of a tax increase should be stimulation anticipatory buying, a point the World Gold Council avoids mentioning. In addition to the current level of gold demand in India, the early arrival of monsoon season in India will further boost demand for gold by setting up India for higher farm output and robust economic growth, according to the Economic Times. Farmers use cash from their harvest sales to buy gold, which is one of the major sources of demand, fueling India's biggest seasonal gold buying period in the fall through year end. The bigger the harvest, the more gold bought by Indian farmers. For the World Gold Council to forecast 90 tons per quarter for the rest of 2017, especially given that quarter two is nearly in the bag and is likely already over 100 tons, is nothing short of motivated anti-gold propaganda. An increase in the general sales tax will likely cause a temporary dip in gold imports, but as with sudden moves as higher in the gold price, Indians will get used to paying a slightly higher price and normal import patterns will resume. Furthermore, a higher rate of taxation on gold sales in India will likely stimulate increased smuggling, over which the Indian authorities seem to limited control. Okay. It appears currently that the Western central banks are having a difficult time keeping a lid on the price of gold. The elevated level of privately negotiated transactions in exchange for physical transactions, both of which facilitate settlement of COMEX gold contracts off exchange privately and out of sight, is an indicator that the banks are struggling to settle gold contracts with derivatives from the amount of gold available on the COMEX. For now, the price of gold has been successfully contained below $1,300, but it would not surprise me if gold makes a strong run over $1,300 heading into, if not before, Labor Day weekend, which again, as you know, Labor Day weekend, okay, whatever. But nonetheless, we'll see. We'll see about this $1,300. $1,279.97, so it's $1,280 right now, which again, this is Saturday. Silver's up 24 cents at $17.60, which means that's what it was at Friday when the markets closed. So had a nice big move in silver and gold. I mean, gold's $10, not a big move, but silver 24 cents, considering it's $17.60, that's a decent move. Let's see what happens. But, this guy's got his ear to the wall, so to speak, way far, or better than J Snip 4 does. But that's a good thing. This is also something the Webbot said to look for going into summer. Ease of pressure on precious metals, things pushing the prices up, and that pressure that's been pushing it down all these years hopefully will be lifted. Having said that, disclaimer, the Webbot's not been real accurate with movements and prices of gold and silver. And again, I think because it's been manipulated so heavily, that's part of the problem, which is why it is so phenomenally accurate with the bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies. They're not manipulated, so it can easily do its thing on the internet with language and determine what things are going to move when and that kind of thing, and it's very accurate. As far as the silver thing, if anyone wants to take advantage, it's for new customers only at Silver Doctors, which is actually their bullion site is sdbullion.com. They put up a page for me, JSNIP4, so it's sdbullion.com/JSNIP4. You can also go into the bottom of this video where the description box is, and there's a link right there. It enables new people to their site, new customers, to get a Proclaim Liberty, I think is what it's called, 10-ounce silver bar at spot price with no freaking premium. Just may pay a very small shipping charge, and that's it. So it's an awesome deal. So, end of this video. On to one more. Talk to y'all later.